You believe your favorite steakhouse or local grill bar is an oasis of honesty and culinary skill. In reality, you live in a world where food has long since turned into an industrial construction set, and chefs have become masterful illusionists. Your holiday dinner may consist of meat scraps glued together with a special bacterial enzyme. Your morning coffee often contains ingredients that are not mentioned in polite society. Today, we will reveal 11 shocking facts about products that deceive your senses and your wallet every day. Prepare yourself. This truth will make you look more closely at every bite you put into your mouth. Habit 1. The soy sauce that you dip your rolls or sushi into is often the product of an aggressive chemical attack. Real sauce should ferment in special vats under the sun from 6 months to 2 years, passing through a complex process of natural bean fermentation. But the cheap product that sits on the shelves of most supermarkets is produced using a rapid acid hydrolysis method in just 3 days. Soy meal is soaked in hydrochloric acid, boiled, and then neutralized with lye. Dyes and flavorings are added to imitate the original taste. There is no nature in this sauce, only harsh chemistry. Calling this liquid soy sauce is roughly the same as calling instant noodles a fine Italian pasta. Habit 2. Store-bought sour cream is often a complex chemical cream based on cheap palm oil. You buy this product, enjoying the surprisingly thick texture, where a spoon literally stands upright. But this effect is not achieved due to the high fat content of natural cream, but thanks to the massive addition of starch and thickeners from seaweed. Often, manufacturers completely replace milk fat with a vegetable analog. Such a substitute holds its shape perfectly and can stay on the shelf for months without changing its taste. If the mass turns blue when in contact with iodine, it means you are eating ordinary starch paste, not a dairy product. Real sour cream should completely dissolve in hot water, turning it into a smooth, white liquid. Habit 3. Instant coffee is just aromatic dust that has nothing to do with a drink for true gourmets. For its mass production, the cheapest and most defective Robusta beans are used, which are simply embarrassing to sell in whole form. They are boiled for hours into a thick black resin, then dried, turning into dry granules or powder. After such harsh thermal treatment, coffee completely loses its natural smell. To return appeal to the product, artificial coffee oils and synthetic flavorings are added to the jars. This drink invigorates your body not gently, but like a sharp sledgehammer blow, due to the abnormally high caffeine content in the cheap raw materials. Habit 4. Movie theater popcorn is a big yellow lie, packed in a fancy and expensive bucket. When you ask to add a double portion of butter, they pour a suspicious and oily yellow liquid over the popcorn. Know this: it was never natural butter. Real butter burns instantly at high temperatures and makes popcorn soggy and unappealing. Movie theaters use cheap coconut or soy oil with diacetyl flavoring. This specific butter smell is created in chemical laboratories specifically to cause excessive salivation, even at the entrance to the shopping center. You are eating salted fat that has never seen a cow, yet it does a great job of clogging your arteries. Habit 5. Meat glue allows restaurants across the country to create elite steaks from ordinary meat shop scraps. You order a beautiful round beef medallion and think you are looking at a whole piece of noble tenderloin. In reality, it could be a real meat Frankenstein. There is a powder called transglutaminase, which professional chefs call meat glue. It allows them to take a bunch of cheap scraps and tendons, sprinkle them with this composition, and roll them tightly into a cylinder. After a night in the refrigerator, these pieces turn into a monolith that cannot be pulled apart by hand. You pay for a premium product, but you are eating a masterfully glued puzzle of production waste. This is a real Lego set, where the parts are made of cow, and the glue is derived from specific bacteria. Habit 6. Ready-made marinated meat for barbecue in the supermarket is an attempt to resuscitate products that have begun to spoil hopelessly. Only meat that has sat on the main counter for too long ends up in the ready-made marinade department. When the expiration date approaches and the piece begins to smell of eternity, it is not thrown away, but sent to the deep processing unit. A huge amount of onions, liters of vinegar, and buckets of hot pepper can mask any suspicious smell and taste. You are buying meat that has been given a second chance at life through aggressive chemical embalming. This is not about your convenience at a picnic. It is a way for the store to minimize its losses at the expense of your health. Always marinate meat yourself if you do not want to consume products with a questionable past. Habit 7. The red dye in your strawberry yogurt or candy is often produced from crushed tropical insects. If you see the word carmine or natural red on a dessert package, know that it is an extract from female insects called cochineal. These small parasitic bugs are mass harvested from cacti in Central America, dried, and ground into a powder to obtain a rich red color. To produce just 1 pound of such dye, approximately 70,000 insects must be destroyed. Every time you enjoy a delicate pink marmalade, you are actually consuming an extract from bugs. This is completely legal and considered a natural component in the U.S. food industry. However, this fact is unlikely to please vegetarians or simply sensitive people. Habit 8. Bottled drinks with the flavor of traditional root beer or beverages resembling kvass are often just ordinary soda. A real product should be the result of live fermentation, possess a complex taste, and natural carbonation. But in most cheap plastic bottles from the supermarket, there is just plain water with sugar, carbon dioxide, and citric acid. They simply add concentrate and synthetic flavorings to imitate the desired taste. This drink has no biological value, as it completely lacks beneficial bacteria. You are drinking colored chemical water that has the same relationship to tradition as instant noodles have to haute cuisine. Habit 9. Ground coffee in your pack often contains an unpleasant surprise in the form of ground insect parts. Large industrial warehouses for storing coffee beans are almost impossible to make completely sterile. Cockroaches and various beetles always live there. When coffee is sent for industrial roasting and subsequent grinding, it is technically impossible to completely separate these insects from the beans. The FDA officially allows a certain percentage of insect parts in ground coffee. It is believed that this cannot be avoided technologically. Every time you brew a ready-made store mix, you get a small portion of roasted protein supplements. If you want to drink a truly clean beverage, buy only whole beans and grind them yourself right before use. Habit 10. Scallops on the menus of many restaurants often turn out to be artificial stamps from cheap stingray wings. A real scallop is an expensive delicacy with a unique, delicate texture. But if you see suspiciously smooth and perfectly white cylinders at a low price, this is a reason to be wary. Manufacturers often take tough stingray or shark meat and cut out smooth circles using special press molds. Then these blanks are soaked in special phosphates, so that they absorb water, become softer, and significantly increase in volume. In the end, you pay for an elite seafood product, but you eat a fish that has had plastic surgery to deceive your taste buds. This is a typical substitution of concepts that allows establishments to make huge profits from the ignorance of their customers. Habit 11. Bottled water is the most brilliant and blatant scam in the history of modern American business. You buy water in plastic, believing that it is extracted from clean artesian springs or glacier peaks. But if you carefully read the fine print on the label, you will often see the phrase, "purified water from a municipal source." This means that before you is regular tap water, which was simply run through additional filters and bottled. Corporations take a public resource that costs a fraction of a cent per gallon and sell it to you at the price of gasoline with a 3,000% markup. You pay huge money for plastic and a beautiful logo, even though the same thing flows from your tap at home. Now, your trip to the store will turn into a real demining operation where every product will have to be studied under a magnifying glass.